sponsored by Trantolo and Trantolo. They are the law firm of the seriously injured Keith and Scott, third-generation Trantolos, 85-plus years in the family. In Hartford, Waterbury, Bridgeport, New Haven, Torrington. You can even find them when you're going into New York now in Long Island, Riverhead, and Melville. And to get a hold of the Trantolo law firm, 844-999-9999. Oh, my God. This goes without saying. How disappointed are we that the USA football or soccer team got beat by Panama last night?
I mean, they're both very disappointing, but I'm more disappointed in the El Futbol team than I am the Futbol Norte Americana team. So I've dove into this a little bit last night. This is actual, you guys were wondering, is this flag football where the United States lost to Japan? No, this is actual
China,
football.
Wasn't it?
No, it's Japan.
Okay.
It was Team Japan. Now, Team Japan, they've been together for 7 years. Our IFAF team was put together in a couple of weeks. And
what is it?
So I got invited to one of these teams a long time ago, back in the 90s, and it did, at first when you get the letter, it's like, oh man, they're asking me to be on Team USA, and then you read the fine print, and it's going to cost your family like $10,000 to send you to Australia to play like 3 football games against a bunch of jokers who've never played football before, and that's the IFAF. And we sent a handful of kids that could basically pay their way to be on this team, and they got beat 41-20. Or was it 40-21? 40-21.
Doesn't matter. We got beat.
But the Team USA talk that I have had to endure my whole entire life, that USA men's soccer is on some kind of rise, that constantly disappoints, and they did it again last night, and they're crying the blues. Panama was so rough. They fouled us all the time, and they didn't get called as much as we should have got called. Oh, God. Shut up.
Called us names.
I can't believe
they made excuses.
Yeah. So Panama rocks out there with Van Halen.
Their best player came in. He swung from a rope.
David Lee Ross style.
Doing some high kicks. Hiya!
Ready to go.
Just kicked our tails.
Pathetic.
Right back to our shores.
So apparently we've got Uruguay to go. Uruguay.
It doesn't matter.
If we beat them, then we're in something.
But I read a story. I almost brought this up yesterday on the show. I read a story. Maybe it'll be better if we lose to Panama. Who writes a story like that? Maybe it'd be better if we lose? That's what's happening to this country.
Need to take a couple steps back to take a big leap forward.
It's a losing culture. It's a losing mentality that we're okay with. There's nothing okay about losing.
You play to win.
Thank you, Herm. But especially abroad, when we're playing other countries, play for our country. Play for some pride. Whatever happened to those days?
So I really would say. Now, I saw this goal that went through the hands of the goalie of the United States, and like, gosh, this was bad. Like, just watching this, like, this is the best goalie in the United States, is this guy went right through his hands. There's no receiver in the NFL that would have missed that. And, you know, all the talk I heard about the NBA softies thinking that they can play in the NFL, get out of here with that. But I will say, any NFL team, any of the 32, you let them field a soccer team, they're beating Team USA. Jacksonville Jaguars would beat Team USA in soccer.
So now, it would be a shock loss if I didn't expect them to lose. I'm not shocked. Right. We stink. We've stunk all of my life. I grew up playing soccer, was really good at it, but it was kind of like you said, it was a secondary sport for me. It got me into shape for basketball and baseball.
Yeah.
Our football team was terrible when I was growing up. So that's why we had wrestlers, basketball players, baseball players, all playing soccer. The first headline, should the coach be fired? How about we get a coach that has coached championship teams? And I don't care if we hire a dude from Europe or hire a guy from Brazil.
Tried that last.
Jurgen Klinsmann.
But hire a guy that understands we have to build from the lowest levels up. That's what these other countries do. They've got the academies. They send these kids to school for 8 years to play soccer and then be educated at the same time. We don't do that here. We're such spoiled. We think our prep soccer kids, and listen, I sent my older kids to prep school and did things that I didn't get to do because my parents couldn't afford it when I was young. But don't expect prep kids or white-collar raised kids to go out there and defend the national name. You get poor kids from these other countries that have nothing, and they'll fight like hell to win a soccer match. That's the difference in why we always get our tails beat by these other countries.
I think incentive is a big thing with this. Like, the incentive for the American soccer player is nowhere near the incentive for all the kids we've seen in the last 48 hours get drafted in the NBA. No incentive quite like anybody that is on an SEC football team that's getting paid more as a 17 to 22-year-old than a lot of the 17 to 22-year-old American soccer players are.
I live it in baseball. Baseball, when I was coming up in the 80s.
Great example.
25 to 30% of the major leagues was African-American. It's now below 5%. The major leagues right now is over 30% Latin American players. And it's because of these academies the last 30-plus years. In fact, they just a couple of years ago cut all the academies per team to 3. The Yankees had 4 or 5 in Dominican, in Venezuela, in Mexico, in Puerto Rico. And these kids love it. They're happy to go from poverty to a school where they get 3 square meals a day. They'll practice baseball 5-6 hours a day and not complain. Our kids go to practice for 90 minutes and complain. I can't do this. I hate this. It's too hot. I mean, that we're raising really soft kids into soft adults, and then when we go and play soccer or Olympic sports abroad, we get waxed.
Soccer.
There's some other sports we're getting waxed.
Not all sports.
No, but we've come back now and we bring pro players to hockey now. We bring pro players to the Olympics in basketball. When we were bringing amateur baseball players in the 80s and 90s, we were winning gold medals. Now we want to stop the season and send pros to the Olympics. I'm not for it. I want amateurs to play.
The other countries are using these pros too, though.
So what? Let Cuba use the Cubans.
France,
let them do that.
Basketball team that we're going to have to teach a lesson to here coming up. Can't wait for that game. Just USA soccer, man.
It's awful. The women have been great. Last 30 years, women have been amazing, have dominated the globe. But again, they're playing for something. They're playing for a greater good. A lot of these guys are not.
We're about to host this World Cup.
I lived in L.A. when I don't know who won the World Cup, but it had nothing to do with the USA. It was every other country represented, driving up and down the street with their flags.
They're going to love
it. Pride. They're going to love it.
Yeah.
But this country,
Panama.
Embarrassing. All right, let's pick what we're going to do this weekend. Who's going to win? Who's going to lose? Who you got coming up next? We'll all take a shot at trying to make you some money. Woo. Also talk about what's going on with the Yankees. The Yankees even win a game this weekend. Be right back on the Rob Dibble Show with Ben Darnell on your afternoon drive.